Hey, what's up guys and gals? Welcome back to another edition of Air Hauler 2 and some FSX with me, your old buddy Mr. Moose. So looking on the map here, I've taken a little job for today. It's going to be some animal feed, 420 pounds of which is going to be going over here to Mississippi, halfway between Gulfport and Hattiesburg. And it's only a short little hop. It's only 84 nautical miles, so it shouldn't be too bad. However, I will say there is lots of weather in the area. It's that time of year here in the southeast where you get these pop-up afternoon thunderstorms. So while the weather is clear where I'm at and clear right there right now, there is lots of convection over in this area and convection over in this area. So I got a little window. We're going to take this flight and see if we can't sneak it in real quick. Before we do so, I want to bring you up to date with our company and where we are at. We have $146,000 right now. I've done quite a bit of flying. You'll see there's a big, huge dip in my money right here. That's because I purchased a new airplane. I did talk about getting a Comanche, waiting for one to come up in the marketplace, and it finally did. About $103,000 was what I paid for it. Now it is not in the best of shape. It is 56% condition on it, but it's flyable. It's doable. It gets me in a faster airplane that holds much more cargo. The Cessna holds about 800 pounds of cargo, 900 pounds of cargo, where the Comanche, I can push it up to about 1,200, 1,300 pounds of cargo. On a short hop. On a longer hop, it needs to be about 1,000 pounds of cargo. But the big thing is the cruising speed on the Comanche is about 150 miles an hour, and that gets me on over there much faster. It helps out on the longer flights. So I did go ahead and purchase that. I'm probably going to sell off the Skyhawk. I really don't have a need for it, though we are getting close to the magic number. I've got 52 flights under my belt. Well, actually 52 plus. I took one additional passenger flight just to see what that was all about. So I have my overall reputation up to 31. Remember, I got to get to 40 before I can take out a loan, start hiring pilots, and start getting some other aircraft in. So that's where we're at. We're going to go ahead and take our cargo job, though, today. So we've got this. We're going to M24, which is just a small asphalt runway. It's about 3,000 feet long, so we'll fly that now. I'm going to go ahead and select the Comanche. Now, the Skyhawk doesn't show up on there because I configured it to do some passenger runs the other day just to mess around with. Load my animal feed. I'm good with there. I need about a little bit more fuel on here. Enough to go 200 nautical miles. That'll be good. That's good and loaded up. All right, it's going to ask me about my flight plan, which again, you guys know I don't really pay attention to this flight plan thing. I will do it myself. I will flip it over to VFR, and I'm going to lower that altitude down to 4,500 feet. Now, again, I will file a different flight plan once I get into the game, but yeah, that's where I'm going to look at running. About 4,500 feet is all I really want to do. Quick up and down on this, and we'll get going. I'm going to jump over into the game. I will see you guys there. All right, guys, welcome back to our base airport at Jack Edwards Airport in Gulf Shores, and this is our beautiful Comanche 250 that we picked up from A2A Simulations. This has got all the bells and whistles that A2A has. This is their latest aircraft. It's about a year old from what they did, but it's really cool. It's got the whole AccuSim feel and AccuSim and just everything from engine maintenance to adding different pieces onto your aircraft. You can take it in to the aircraft maintenance bay. You can change out the battery. You can change the different tires on it. You can put all kinds of different little things on it. As you can see, I've got like I've got fairings on it. I've got tip tanks put on it. Elevator tips, which actually extend your maximum cruising speed on the plane. The tip tanks actually improve the amount of overall carrying weight of the plane as it adds to the wing stability. So just all kinds of cool little things that you can do to the plane, including change out your propeller. You can put on a aluminum propeller, or you can put on a composite propeller. I tend to prefer the composite. It runs pretty good, but you can do all the engine maintenance as well as oil changes and spark plug changes, and even check the compression on your engines. It's really just a great aircraft. A2A just does some incredible stuff with their aircraft. including giving you the walk-arounds and your pre-flight inspections, which we're getting ready to do with this particular plane. To get started, it's pretty straightforward. There's normally a bungee cord between the two yokes, but I've already taken that down. We're going to turn the master switch on. One thing that is missing from the pre-flight inspection that I thought would be on there is the pitot. Turn your pitot on to warm it up. I mean, what good is inspecting it on the pre-flight inspection if you don't heat it up? So you do need to do that after you turn the master switch on. Check your fuel levels, make sure they're good. You want to check your fuel selectors and make sure that they're in a good spot. So to do that, of course, the fuel selectors are down here in the floorboard. You've got both of them here, and they're actually got multiple selectors on this one if you have the tip tanks on it. If you don't have the tip tanks, you'll just have off and on, but with the tip tanks you've got a 90 degrees where you can flip it out here, and if I can do it, you can flip it halfway and select the tip tanks, but I'm not going to worry about it because I don't have fuel in the tip tanks, so I don't have to worry about all that stuff. So what else do we need to do? We need to make sure the ignition switch is turned off. That is. We need to go ahead and fully extend our flaps all the way out so we can inspect those, and we'll start our inspection. Now I have to go backwards around the plane on my inspection right now because I have Easy Dock installed for my cameras, and with it installed it's messing up the pre-flight cameras, so I do have to just kind of walk around and do everything in reverse. So fuselage, we'll check the key on that, make sure that is secured. Then we'll come back to the very back of the plane. We'll check our elevators, make sure that nothing is damaged here. Everything looks good. And as you can hear, there's a little thunder off in the distance, so we do need to get this flight off the ground. So we need to kind of move through this. Static air, it looks clear, looks good. Check our flaps on the left side. Make sure all the hardware looks good, all the connections are in good shape. That's good. And again, I've mentioned some of these photos, you think they're static, they will change and you'll end up with something that's broken. Now this is a tip tank. We would check the levels of it, but we don't have anything in it, so because we're not going to be using it, no big deal. Check our landing lights on our left side wing, it looks good. Check out our leading edge. Check out our stall indicator, and then over here is our pitot that we warmed up. Make sure that it's nice and warm. It is. That's good. All right, and then you got your wheels. If they were chocked, we would take those off. We would untie it if we had it tied down. We don't right now. Check our fuel level in that tank. Looks good. Check our oil. I just did an oil change on this. Every so many hours, like every 25 hours, every 40 if you're running it every day, it says. But I bought this aircraft used, and right after I bought it, the engine oil was black. So I changed the oil. I've flown several loads in it, and I've had to change it again because it just recently got black on me again. So you do want to change your oil out periodically. Then inspect the front. Make sure that everything is clear here. No damage on the prop. Then we'll check our fuel. Make sure there's nothing down here in the bottom of it. Everything looks good. There's no need to drain more. Fuel level looks good in the tank. We're only carrying 10 pounds in each wing. I did change it to make sure that I had 20 pounds of fuel just to give it a good weight. That looks good. Don't need to inspect that. Check our connections here. Looks good. Check that. That looks good as well. So we're good with our pre-flight inspection. So we need to put a little weight in here because we are carrying cargo. I got 170 here to balance out the front seat. And on the back seat, we'll put some weight in here. That's too much. Need to crank that down to about 125. 125. Come on down. I think that's right. 125, 125. That's 250, 350, 420. That should be right. That should get everything good. Make sure our oil is topped off, and again, we've got 20 gallons of fuel in the wings. We are good to go there. So our load is ready. At this point, we can go ahead and start this puppy up. So we'll go through our briefings. Pre-flight is complete. Passengers are briefed. Seat belts, flaps, we need to raise those all the way up. is getting dark on us, isn't it? Radios are turned off. Circuit breakers are pushed in. All the circuit breakers are down here. It's pretty obvious if one of them is out because they sit really long. Of course, there's no reason for them to be out. But anyways, autopilot off. Carb heat is off. Fuel selection, we've done that. So let's go ahead and get her started so we can get off the ground. Crack the throttle a little bit. I'm going to push the mixture all the way in. Put my prop to full. I'm going to check to make sure my landing gear is in the green position. I'm going to turn that pitot heat off. I don't need it on anymore. Beacon is on. Let's see, what else do we need to do? Fuel pump. We need to prime the engine real quick. Make sure we got a little fuel pressure. So let's bring that fuel up. Come on. There we go. We're in the green now. Now we need to prime the engine. Now, priming in the book says maybe 3 to 5. I usually do about 3, and it usually starts right up, so I don't have any issues with it anymore. Higher elevations, colder engine, you might need to do 5. But at this point then, everything looks good. We need to check around, make sure everything is clear. Yell clear prop. And then we will go ahead and start our engine. Oh, we got to turn the magnetos on. Clear. All right, go ahead and start. Pull those engines down. Pull that engine down. Want it just under 1,000 RPMs. And then I want to go ahead and lean the mixture out while we're on the ground so we don't foul any of the plugs out. I've been fouling plugs out on the other one, and when I got this one, I've noticed that as long as I lean that thing out to about 60% when it's down on the ground, I don't really have any problems. Alright, check our oil pressure, check, make sure our temperatures are coming up, vacuums are up, anemometer's working. Everything looks good. We'll go ahead and turn the radios on, and we'll start getting set to get out of here. Alright. Cabin is warm and warming steadily. We need to make sure that we close off those. And we'll pull the vent out. Make sure there's plenty of ventilation in here. Alright. Let's go ahead and move forward here. At this point we are ready to taxi. So we'll go ahead and get rid of this. Check our weather real quick.
Kilo, Alpha, automated weather observation, 2340, Zulu, wind 152 at 8, visibility greater than 20 miles, sky condition 2,400, scattered, temperature 30 Celsius, dew point 24 Celsius, altimeter 3002.
Alright, so our wind is coming out of the southeast. So we probably want to take off to the east, which will be good. We'll take off there and then turn on around. So we'll go ahead and select our runway to take off as runway 9. We'll take off there and then we'll just kind of do a loop out over the ocean a little bit to avoid some of the storms that are inland. Then we'll get behind the storms and head into our destination. So be a little bit off course to begin with, but we should be all right. All right, let's go ahead and get that up. Let's see. Let's go ahead and announce taxi.
Juliet, Kilo Alpha, traffic, Hyper, November 77901, Papa is taxiing to runway 9er.
All right, and with that done, we'll go ahead and take off our brake, and we'll see if we can't spin this thing on around and head on out. Usually about 1100 RPMs will get this thing rolling real good, even with a load on it. If you're unloaded and it's just you in the seat, the plane will take off on you at even 1,000. It rolls really good. All right, so I'm gonna give myself one set of flaps for this takeoff. And then we'll go from there. So add-ons that I'm running now, I've changed up and got a lot of them back in. As I said, I have Easy Dock in for my camera movements. Then I also have installed Active Sky Next for weather. Let me pull that RPM down a little bit. We're getting a little bit fast here. Make our turn, head out to 9. I've also got FTX Global in and FTX Vector in for scenery, trucks, road movement. It's dropped my frame rate a little bit, but it's not too terribly bad. I'm getting about 22, 23 frames, so I'm alright with that. This game is notoriously hard on frame rates. It was down in the teens. I had to do a reinstall and get everything working right because it had gotten really low. Alright, so let's hold up short. We're going to do our run up. So our run up on this plane is different than it was in our Cessna. We'll bring this up and I'll show you the run up information. We want to just make sure our fuel quantity is checked. We're going to run up we're going to put the mixture to full. And then we're going to run the motor up to about 2,000 RPM. Let me go ahead and put the headphones in too to quiet this up a little bit. We'll run our motor up to about 2,000 RPM. And we'll check and make sure that we've got fuel pressure. That's good. I probably should have let the engine warm up a little bit hotter. Get my oil temperatures up a little bit, but everything looks good. Alright, now we want to do our mag drop to make sure that we got about a 50 mag drop on each side. And what you're doing here is you're shutting one side of the motor off and listening to see if it's running smoothly. If you have any kind of stutter, you might want to run your mixture a little bit lean, try to clear out any foul plugs. Then we're going to cycle our prop 3 times to work the oil up through it. Oh, come on now. Getting a little bit of lag there. And cycle that one more time. That's good. And the last thing we need to do is check our carb heat. We're looking for that motor to fall off just about 100 RPM. It did. So we're good there. Bring that back up. And we can bring that motor back down a little bit lower. Pretty much good at this point. We want to make sure that we're good on our flaps. We're ready for takeoff at this point. We'll go ahead and make it known that we're going to head out. So let's go ahead and announce that we're taking off.
Juliet, Hilo Alpha, traffic, Hyper, November 77901, Papa, taking off, runway 9er, departing straight out.
Alright, we'll turn our landing lights on, our strobe on. We'll go ahead and turn our fuel pump on as well for takeoff, as according to the books. And then we will go ahead and make our way on out. So let's go ahead and get rolling. Ooh, I swung a little bit wide on that. Get her straightened up, and then we'll get going. Looking good. Alright, we'll start applying about 50% power to it as I get down the runway, and then I'll give it to her and get going hard. Rotate at 80, at 85 actually. There we go, rotate. Get her up. She wants to go a little bit left on me lately. That's good. Alright, we're up, gear up. Nice. Alright. And we will go ahead and pull back that RPM just a little bit. I want it about 2,400 RPM. Go ahead and pull my flaps in. Nice. I'm gonna go ahead and turn my autopilot on so it will get ready. It does take a little bit of time for it to initialize. Go ahead and get my heading bug turned around. I should have done that before we take off. Once that light gets here in the ready position, I can go ahead and push this knob twice. It will switch the autopilot over to take over the heading bug, which is good, and I can work on making sure my climb is good. I want to be climbing about 1,000 feet, 1,500 feet per minute, somewhere right in there. Optimum climb is like 120 on the motor, so shooting for about 120 miles an hour. I can pitch up just a little bit, try to catch that. And we're going up to 4,500 feet. And I'm going to start banking my turn out over the water a little bit. And I'll contact and go ahead and get flight following set up.
Sherman, approach. Hyper, November 77901, Papa is type Hyper, 5 miles east of Kilo, Juliet, Kilo, Alpha, request flight following. Hyper, November 77901, Papa, Sherman, approach. Squawk 5335. Squawk 5335, Hyper, 901, Papa. Hyper, 901, Papa, radar contact 5 miles east of Kilo, Juliet, Kilo, Alpha, 3100, altimeter 3003. Copy.
Alright, acknowledge that radar contact. And we should be good with them for a while. Coming up on 3,500. We might actually have to come down a little bit because of this cloud base. Yeah, trying to get up over them. I think if we get up to about 4,500 feet, we should be good. And then just fly out and around the storms. Just about up to 4,500. Now this plane, you really don't start to need to lean the motor out until you get up to about 5,000 feet. But we'll come up to about 4,500, level off, and then we'll look at setting everything up from there. Now you want to lower your manifold pressure down. I'm going to set mine up about 1,800 on the manifold. And then I'm also going to bring my prop RPM back to 18. So I'm going to run about 1818 or 18 square. I see a little lightning out there. So let's go ahead and turn back to the west a little bit. Don't want to fly into any storms we don't have to fly into. Go ahead and turn off my fuel pump. I'll leave my landing lights on just because the weather's a little squirrely. Oop. Pull that nose up a little bit, and I'll get leveled off here and try to get my altitude leveled off. I got a little pitchy on that maneuver there. Slowly bring her back down to 4,500, and then we'll level off and trim out. Come on, don't go back up, come down. Ooh, see that storm over there? I'm going to try and squirt right in between them. Alright, I'm going to try to pitch down just a little bit and pull my motor back just a little bit so I can get down to 4,500, and then I'll set up the autopilot on this. The autopilot works a little bit different than any of the other planes. This is an older style airplane. It's that Piper autopilot that's in it. So basically you've got one side of the air handles the heading, and then the autopilot will basically hold the elevation for you, but you have to, and it will give you audible cues and visual cues for what you need to do to trim the motor out in order to hold your elevation. So basically I'll come up here, I'll flip, that blue light will come on, it says it's holding the elevation, but periodically these little yellow lights will come on and tell me what I need to do to trim out to hold that elevation, which hopefully not too much. Alright, so now that we can see the weather a little bit, and I'm going to roll around here and shoot for clean air, head her west, and get around these storms, and then we'll head back over into Mississippi. So we don't have a long flight to go, but we kind of got to go the alley-oop around to get to it, as there are quite a bit of storms over that way inland. We can actually come on around a bit more. And head on in. As long as we run parallel to the coast, we should be okay. Just kind of take a westerly heading. Pretty clear skies out here over the water, though. Just a few clouds up in this area that we're headed straight at. Anyways, now that we're up on cruising speed, we'll just kind of, we'll skirt around these storms, make our way out behind them, and then at that point I'll be ready to bring her in and get her on final. Not much to it, but I really do like this aircraft. It's a lot of fun to fly. She's really quiet and really just skirts through here nice. I mean, you're cruising at 150 miles an hour right now, and it's running very little in the RPMs. I'm running it, well, I need to pull my RPM down just a little bit and run it at 18 square. You run it at 24 square, 20 square, whichever you want to run, which is 24 RPMs on your tachometer, and then your manifold pressure at 2400. But I tend to run it, I find about 18 is pretty nice. It keeps me up around 150 nautical miles, or 150 miles an hour. And if I go ahead and pull the mixture down a bit, I can lessen my fuel rate down to under 10 gallons an hour, which is pretty good. I'm going to pull it down to about 45% on the fuel mixture, just so that the motor's running nice and smooth. I'm going to pull that RPM back up a little bit so it's up around 18. And I did see some lightning over there, so I am going to come on veer inland a little bit more. Look at our GPS, pull the range out a little bit, just so we can see what we've got going on. This is Mobile Bay right here. As long as we get on the other side of the bay and maybe get down around Gulfport and then turn straight up from Gulfport. It should be all right. That's my game plan, anyways. Is just basically head her up this way to the west, steering clear of these little storms, and so that I stay in clean air. As you can see, there's some storms back this way. So there's a little gap I can shoot through here, get behind them, and then make my way in. That's about it. I mean, that's the way this flight's going to be, is just kind of juking around and making sure that I avoid the storms, clouds. This is those hit or miss afternoon thunderstorms here in the southeast that they pop up every day. They're like, you pretty much know they're coming, you just never know what time of the day they're going to pop up. So anyways, I'm just going to cruise along here. If anything comes up, I'll edit it in. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on final. Well guys, as you can see, it looks like I have managed to skirt all the way around the storms. They are basically off to my east now. So it's about time to turn north. It looks like we have pretty clear skies ahead of us. And we'll start making our way up towards the airport and begin our approach. So I'm just going to turn north. Looking at the GPS a moment ago, it looks like I need to go at about a heading of 340 in order to make my way up that way. So I'm just going to turn my heading bug and take a heading of 340. And that should get us up towards the airport and get us headed on in. So we'll do that, and as soon as we're in the general vicinity of the airport, I'll go ahead and come back with you guys and we'll start our descent. Alright guys, as you can see by the GPS, we are just about 11 miles out from the airport, so started my descent. All I'm doing is just pulling the power back on it and letting her glide down to make her way down. Need to be down about 2,000 feet, I guess, so we'll go ahead and make that. I'll go ahead and put the mixture on in. I'm going to cancel our flight following, and then we'll contact the airport and make it known where we're at.
Gulfport approach, cancellation received, squad 1200, frequency change approved.
Oh, I hit the wrong button, really? You guys don't see that, thank goodness. Nearest airport list was 2, so right as I went to strike it, it moved it down 1, so... Alright, so we're going into Griffin Memorial. We'll tune to traffic on it. Runway for landing. Let's check our weather real quick. I'm just going to hit this real quick. Wind is at 133, so I think I want to come in at 17. Now it's a full stop. Announce our position.
November 77901, Papa is 900 miles southeast, 3,200, inbound to land, runway 17.
Alright, so we're going to come in on runway 17, so I want to go ahead and set my course up for that. Flip that around to 170. I made a complete 180 on there, or 360 on it actually. There we go.
Romeo 1, traffic, mall, November 90373, Juliet is on downwind, runway 18.
And we want to go ahead and start looking for that runway. It should be not too far ahead of us. Decrease our range down to 10 miles so that we see that. With my add-ons, my GPS has been a little bit slow to react, which is sort of annoying when you're trying to do things. Get that on the 5-mile scan. Start looking for it off on the horizon up in front of us. Now it's supposed to have lights on it. I don't think it has poppy lights or anything like that. So we'll just kind of keep an eye for it. And we're breaking through. Probably want to go ahead and pull my elevation up here and level off. And spool off some speed while I do that. I'll go ahead and put this back on the autopilot to just level us off. Be looking for that runway. I think maybe this is it right up in this area right here. Maybe so. It's supposed to have lights on it, but I don't see lights. And there's that trim indicator. Just let me know I need to trim the nose up a little bit. Trying to get my speed down to about 120 knots. I think that is it right there in front of us. All right. That does look like it, so we'll go ahead and take our course up to the north here and start making our approach. See what we got on this runway. I do see some lights on it on the ends. AirNav says it's got poppy lights on it, but I never trust AirNav anymore because half the time AirNav is completely wrong. But I do see some end of the runway marker lights. Well, that's good. Alright, so we'll set our course up, headed north at 3.5. We'll run a few miles out, and then we'll turn and we'll make our approach. And hopefully we'll get in here before the sun sets. And get her down on the ground. And get our delivery made. This will be delivery 53 for us. Well, not delivery 53, but 53%. So, what is that? 33 deliveries that I've made? So, they're getting a little bit easier. This plane's been a lot of fun to learn, to fly in, and to do my approaches in. It's been a real pleasure to fly. I'm going to go ahead and get my prop up. Oops. A little fast on that. I guess I should announce I'm downwind.
Mike 2-4,
Oops,
traffic,
wrong one.
Piper, November 77901, Papa is on crosswind, runway 17.
No, I'm actually on downwind.
Mike 2-4, traffic, Piper, November 77901, Papa is on downwind, runway 17.
So I want to get myself about 5 miles out from the airport. Make my turn and then I'll come back in. Maybe not even that much. 4 miles out, which is about where I'm at right now. And then we'll make our turn and make our heading in. I'm going to go ahead and put one level of flaps in, start slowing the plane down a little bit. This is on downwag. Approach is like 120, down leg is 110, base is like 100, and then on final you want to be at 90 for your airspeeds. Alright, that's looking pretty good. Start rolling around here, flipping her back around. 170, and then when we see the runway, we'll adjust. Trim up a little bit. Actually, I'm gonna pull a little bit of power out. Go. Good. I believe that's our runway right there. All right. So, I'll go ahead and drop the autopilot off. Come over just a little bit. Start bringing that power down a little bit more. Put little flaps in there. Not seeing those lights, but I do see the runway way up there. Definitely don't see any poppy lights on it, so it's not going to be that bad. Just start making our way up there, slowly coming down. We're 4 miles out, and I need to do a better job of landing up. Or lining up. Landing up. Whatever. Speak English there, Moose. Alright, go ahead and drop that landing gear down. That'll start to slow us down a bit. Always makes my nose come way up. Because I'm trimmed for a different speed there. Alright. Nose down a little bit. Go ahead and put that last little bit of flaps in there. Double check, make sure everything's right. Good to go. Bring her in for a landing. Got those trees right there at the beginning of the runway, so I want to be a little bit up over them. I'm terrible at lining up on runways. I think I'm too far to the right, I end up too far to the left. I think I'm too far to the left, I end up too far to the right. I'm terrible. Kill some more of that power. Get her down to about 90. Get those wings level. Oop. Don't need any more of that. I'll pull that nose up a little bit. The trees are looking ominous. Yep. Looking good, looking good.
Minimums.
Get a little lightning off in the distance there. Oh, come back to the left. Come back to the left. Come back. Way to the left. Oh. Come on, Moosey.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Oh, we're down. It says it was smooth. It was a little squirrely there. But, hey, we're on the ground, right? I guess I ought to put some brake into it now, for sure. Those trees made me really nervous right there. I screwed a lot up there. Didn't announce final. Come on, turn. I didn't announce final. There's a lot I messed up on that. Could have done so much better. Get those lights off. Fuel pump off. Landing light off. Strobes off. We'll roll her up here to the office and get paid. At the end of the day, any landing you walk away from is good. And in this game, any landing over okay is great. So, that's sort of the way I look at it. I need to pull my mixture way back. Don't foul those plugs out. Alright, bring her in here. Alright. Alright. Good enough for me. We'll put the mixture out. Turn off our switch. Good. Landing lights off. Radio's off. Nice. That one you actually got to roll. And then this one over here is just a click. Ooh, hear that? We got on the ground just in time. So, interesting flight. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Anyways, last thing we have to do, as always, is jump back over into our air hauler software and get paid. So we'll come up here to cargo and fuel. I'll go ahead and unload our animal feed. All right, job is complete. Moose gets paid. And we pick up a little bit more reputation, which is all that matters. Finish our flight monitoring. It took us an hour and 11 minutes to do that, and we had quite a bit of weather to dodge. I really didn't expect to have to move all the way around all that stuff, and boy, I had to take quite a flight to get over there. But yeah, it took us way out over here, and you can see how I had to zigzag around, and yeah, it was fun. But the job gets done, we get paid, And yeah, we'll move on to the next job. Anyways, hope you enjoyed that look at the Piper Comanche 250 from A2A Simulations, and of course our latest episode of Air Hauler 2. If you like the series, make sure you let me know in the comments below. We'll continue on. We're getting ever so closer to being able to get a loan and hire some pilots, which is our overall objective. We need to get our reputation up to, well, 59% is where I need to get in order to get overall up to 40. So once I get up to 49 or 59, and that extra point that I did with taking a passenger run, I will be able to get to the 40 that I need and start taking out a loan, buying some more aircraft, and hiring some pilots at that point. So I'm watching the marketplace now for a Chieftain. That's the next purchase. The two purchases I'll be making in the future are going to be a Chieftain and then the Super Cargo Master C208B. This is from Coronado. I'll be using it. Those are the two planes that I plan on getting in the near future. I will probably still get a PC-12, but that Cargo Master, it lands at a lower speed, hauls a little bit more cargo, and technically, according to all the charts and everything, it's the same speed as that PC-12. Even though I love the PC-12, I'll probably end up getting Cargo Master, but it is used. It's $1 million, so gonna have to get some cash in, or what I'm really gonna do is probably lease it. So but anyways, that's what's headed your way. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, stay safe, have a great day, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, I hope you consider giving it a like, maybe even sharing it with your friends. It does help me out a tremendous amount and is greatly appreciated. Also, leave some comments down below. That's really the only way I can gauge if you guys are enjoying what's being put out. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you want daily notifications. I try to do a new video each and every day. Also, if you want to stay in touch with me and find out what's going on, our social links are down in the bottom left-hand corner. Twitter is where I usually announce schedule changes, live streams, and new video releases. Facebook's a great way to get in touch with me if you have any questions to ask. And of course, I am trying to get to 1,000 followers on Google+, which I know I'll probably be old and gray before that happens. But if you can jump over there and follow me, it would be super awesome. So if you like today's video, there's a whole lot more content on the channel. I hope you'll browse through it, find something to keep yourself entertained until the next video or live stream. Speaking of live streams, I try to do them nightly around 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Until the next time, thanks again for watching. See you soon.